recording. So, Hare Krishna, Om Jnanati Mirandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurumiltamena Tasmai, Shri Gurave Namaha, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Om Surabhyaya Namaha. So welcome everybody for this course at Varnasrama College online. So I'm very happy to meet you here. And I will also start with sharing my screen. Okay. So can everybody see my screen and this PowerPoint?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so we are having first session of Holistic Thinking and Spiritual Science course. I change a little bit the title and I will explain then why. And it is based on the teachings of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami, and of course of our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I choose spiritual science over Vedic sciences because with years passing, I feel that Vedic is very particular term and we should use it a little bit in other contexts, especially because now we have Varnasrama College. And Varnasrama is Vedic system, but we also have other systems that we are using. We will look into this in part 2 on Wednesday, and we will look this also in my next course, understanding Srila Prabhupada's teachings in the context. So spiritual science is more encompassing, and Vedic science, I'm using this term in very particularly to those practices that are really connected to Shruti Shastra, okay, to the 4 Vedas, Upanishads, and like that. And when I joined ISKCON, our temple had name Center for Vedic Studies. But now, with my understanding, I will not call it like that. We understand, of course, the purpose of the Vedas are to bring us to Krishna consciousness, isn't it? But then there is also Vedic system and there are other systems. And so that's why I'm calling it now a spiritual science. Because we go beyond the Vedas, because Krishna cannot be understood only through the Vedas, to some extent, but as we understand from Krishna himself, he is actually hidden in the Vedas. You have to find Krishna in the Vedas, and sometimes not so easy. So that's why why I changed this. Okay, so we will have brief introduction of all the participants, and also if you have any questions, so after each module you will have possibility to ask questions. So we'll open question session after finishing each module. If you have any things that you don't understand and you need to ask right away, you are welcome to do it. But the general questions, which are not really necessary for your immediate understanding at that point, please park them and ask them at the end of module. Okay, so I will just briefly introduce myself. I'm Dhiran Taidas, and I joined ISKCON in Austria, which is near Germany. And I was born in Croatia, but I studied in Austria and I met devotees there. And then I went back to Croatia, where I had a few then leadership roles and helped establish the temple in Zagreb, in the capital city. And after that, then I relocated to Germany, and I'm presently serving at ISKCON Simhachalam temple. So you can see here our deities. A wonderful Sri Prahlad Narasimha, deities. So you can have some darshan. And we have a farm here and Goshala, guest house, like that. So this temple is the oldest temple in Germany. And in 2022, we will celebrate 40 years of installation of Prahlad Narasimha. But the property was bought 1979. So it's a quite old ISKCON project and the center of education actually for whole Central Europe, like this. And I also graduated from ISKCON GBC College for Leadership Development, which is first project for systematically teaching and training new leaders in ISKCON. So this is another college. We have now Varnasrama College, but this is also the first actual ISKCON college that was established officially. And it is training zonal supervisors as assistants to the zonal secretaries of the GBC. So zonal secretaries, of course, this is the zonal GBC representative in each country or each zone. And because now there are so many devotees, especially in certain areas, especially in India, so these zonal secretaries, zonal GBCs, they need assistance, they need help. And that's why also this position was established of zonal supervisors. So there can be many zonal supervisors in one zone. So I'm not serving now as zonal supervisor. We have another devotee in Germany who is doing this, the Lord Govinda Prabhu. But some of the things that I'm presenting here, actually the basic nucleus idea came from this training. Okay, so here's a course structure. So we have in part 1, module 1, system thinking. We'll have the module 2, system thinking and 7 purposes of ISKCON. Module 3, holistic thinking. And then this will be the parts, the modules in second part. Okay, where we'll look a little bit deeper into spiritual science and spiritual systems in Sanatana Dharma and ISKCON. And I will share also, of course, this PowerPoint with you. So course objectives is first understanding. So we want to understand this principle, this concept of system thinking, which is coming from project management and holistic thinking. Then we want to understand the system behind the 7 purposes of ISKCON, which were written by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Then we want to understand holistic system of Sankirtana movement. Then we want to understand spiritual science and its systems. And we want to understand the application of system thinking and holistic thinking for training improvement in ISKCON. So how we can use these 2 concepts of system thinking, holistic thinking for training improvement of ISKCON. And finally, with all of this, we want to achieve, here's something is missing, I just see. Okay, how to achieve these 7, no, actually it's not missing, sorry. So we want to achieve in a better way the 7 purposes of ISKCON. Okay, for each one of us and for the whole ISKCON. So here we are in the module 1, system thinking. So when we hear about the system, so there are different systems. Basically for our now discussion, the system is a method to achieve results. Okay, it's a method, it's a procedure, which you use to achieve certain result. So it is very helpful because you don't do try and error, process, but you have a very specific method that will help you to achieve results. Of course, there are other systems. There are mechanical systems, which we will also look a little bit. Like what is the relationship? What are different systems of one unit? System structures of one unit, and what is the relationship between them? But for us, it is more about procedure and method. So system thinking is a part of learning or training organization, which ISKCON is, as we will also see and analyze in 7 purposes of ISKCON. And here's one map of different tools of a system thinker. So on the left side, you see that you have some relationship between parts and the wholes, or parts versus wholes, as it's written here. Then you have linear thinking and non-linear thinking or processes. Then you have analysis versus synthesis. And then you have structures versus processes. So we'll more look into the processes, to achieve structures. So you have hierarchies versus networks, and you have objects versus relationships. And of course, many more things. This is just one way. So there is whole concept, whole also philosophy of this system thinking. And here also you see disconnection versus interconnectedness, which is also very important in these times. Okay, silos and emergence, and parts, wholes, and isolation versus relationships. So many different dualities also. And so you have these processes also, step-by-step processes where you can specify some problem issue, you can construct hypothesis or some model, and then you test this hypothesis or model, and then you see if some changes are needed in the process, and then you can communicate this understanding back and try to solve the problem or issue. And you have these different thinking skills: dynamic thinking, system as cause thinking, forest thinking. We'll not go so deeply now into that, because I'm also not a scientist. I am well, I would say I am a spiritual scientist. That's why we will talk in this course more about the principles, because we are just starting also with Varnasrama College. So important is to set the ground, to lay the foundation and lay the principles, and for these principles to try to understand all the details, okay, and how we can apply it in the different Vedic sciences and processes. Okay, and then we have finally scientific thinking. So here, very interesting, the person being oriented will seek to correct any failure with the person. So if we don't work with the system, with the methodologically, we will now see, oh, this person is making this failure and this mistake, and we will go after the person. Okay, we will deal very much with the person and try to find faults and problems with the person. But the system being oriented will seek to correct any failure in the system. And then we will think, oh, perhaps our system of training is not good. Our system education needs improvement. Okay, so it is the fault of the system. And I know that my Guru Maharaj, often said that if we lose, for example, unfortunately, one devotee in ISKCON, somebody leaves ISKCON, he said it's always actually we should look as it is a failure of ISKCON. Now, it is not devotee's fault. We should not never say it is the fault of this or that devotee, but actually it is our mistake that we couldn't keep the devotee. So then we can look and improve the whole system, where we did mistake as a society, as a organization. So here we see some more systems thinking method and practice. We saw these specify problems, build model or hypothesis, and test them, then communicate, this understanding, implement changes. And you see here a little more graphically. Okay, and we understand also that our body is a system, and not only one system, we have different systems in the body. And here we see 11 different body systems. And we have this reductionist approach, very analytical approach, which is very much now the characteristics of our times, isn't it? So that we look deeper and deeper into details, and sometimes we lose the big picture. That's why also giving this course on holistic thinking, and that we understand more what means holistic and why it is so important in these particular times, in this time and age. And of course, we have also doctors who are specializing in just skeleton system, or just in muscular system, so many specialists. But finally, we often see that they cannot really cure you, on the long run, because they don't see the whole picture. So it's very then separate, in different units. But where is then the connection, And certainly there is connection, as we know from Ayurveda. And the Ayurvedic system, this is something from Dr. Shiva Ayudarai. I don't know if some of you know him. He is now running also for the Senate in USA. He's American Indian, or how I would say Indian American, I'm not sure, scientist. He was born in India, but then they moved to America. And he's also trying to combine Western science, his PhD, and like this. And he later on studied, he's one of the leading actually experts, as far as I know, for immune system, which is also very interesting now in this crisis that we have. And he studied also traditional Ayurveda and Siddha medicine in India. And he made his own model. And so we see here that system has few very important features. One is transport, or input. We could say input into the system. Some information is coming, or some stuff is coming into the system. This would be vata, transportation. Then there is some conversion, some digestion, like a digestion of knowledge, of thoughts, like that. Then it is being stored. Something is being maintained in the body of the system. And of course, then after that, there is also output. So, but, and this would be actually, yes, also inside of this conversion, perhaps, and transportation, that there will be also some output, for transportation. And this is how he is explaining this, for example, three doshas concept, or three dosha system in Ayurveda, in very interesting way. So I'm not advocating him. I've just found this example very interesting. But of course, we have the problem that he is not really referring to Shastra, to traditional Shastra. So one would have to carefully look into his whole system and see, if this is really everything Shastric, what he's saying. So there is a disclaimer, okay? So we go forward, and I think I can even, I don't know if this will help to make full screen, if this is now better. Okay, yes. So, and we have now here also the body system as presented by Ayurveda with 7 dhatus. And we see some similarities with allopathic Vedic Western system, that there's a reproductive system, there's a circulatory system, and like this. But it is all connected. You see here interconnectedness of each system with another system, and how it builds very logical unit. So let's go for the next one. Okay, so this, I think I will go back because this is working better. So each training implies a system and continuous improvement which offers critical paths to minimize failures and mistakes on the way. So this is the really big advantage of the system, that we can minimize failures and mistakes, especially if we get the feedback and try to improve the system by observing things. So continuous improvement, this is very important feature. And yeah, here's one even bigger, mind map of the systems thinking skills, like that. So basically system thinking, what is the advantage? Another advantage of system thinking is that it allows ordinary devotee to perform extraordinary results because there is empowerment through system. So because you're working with some higher knowledge, with some higher method than you yourself would be able to find out, okay, there is empowerment. And our whole movement, isn't it, is very much about being empowered by Guru and Gauranga, by Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. So now we will look a little bit more into trying to find good definition for us. So system thinking is a method which implies training and continuous improvement in order to allow the ordinary devotee to perform extraordinary results. And that's interesting that now, okay, then something that's why I couldn't find. Okay, I will have to switch to my PowerPoint here. Just one moment. There are some technical problems. I was trying to avoid some technical problems. Just a moment. But now the something else happened. Okay. Just one moment now. Yeah, I have to find my way back. Okay, here. Okay, just a moment. Are you seeing now my screen?
We are seeing the PDF still.
You are still seeing. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I can stop it here. Okay, yeah. I'm also a little bit learning how to go. Do you have, as for now, any questions? I'm just trying to open PowerPoint because I was in PDF. Any questions so far? Okay, sorry, I completely forgot to give you a chance to introduce yourself. So we'll now pause a little bit and ask you to please introduce shortly yourself. I will just show it once again on the screen. And really to also express some expectations from your side about this course, you know, what you would like to hear and learn and why you actually applied for this course. So here is some template for this. Please, Akshara Prabhu, perhaps would you like just shortly introduce yourself according to this template and say through a few words of
Yeah,
your expectations.
Hare Krishna. My name is Akshara Das. I'm from Germany and I know Dhiranitai Prabhu personally for many years. And actually, I became aware of the seminar only today, a few hours ago, because I had a meeting with where Dhiranitai was present. So I'm not well prepared in what I expect from this seminar. I cannot clearly tell you. It's just that the name systematic thinking calls my attention because I'm a person, I want to systemize everything, to structure everything. And when there are methods, I'm always very curious, especially, of course, if it's connected or can be used for Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Akshara Prabhu. So, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my obeisances. This is Dheeraj here from Pune, India. And I am associated with ISKCON since 2014. I am a new devotee, you can say. I have done my master's in computer science. I am a student of His Grace Sankarshan Das Adhikari. And regarding service, I have served Gurudev in number of ways. And one of them includes creating apps for his course. I have created a Android and a iOS app. And regarding my expectations, I am only hoping that this course will make me understand how I can contribute back to ISKCON for all that it has given me. That's it from my side.
Very nice. We are very glad to have you here, Prabhu. So, next devotee, please.
Hari Krishna Prabhu, myself Rishi Kumar Das. I'm from India. I'm currently working in Kuwait in petroleum company. I am a chemical engineer, and I am disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj. I got initiated last year, and I joined ISKCON around 2009 2010. And about this course, I have very vague understanding, but from the slides, I come to know like what should be our approach towards any structure or any problem, like how our thinking should be, and what would be our like holistic approach towards it, like that. So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone. This is Prafulla Kumar. I am from India, currently staying in Bangalore. I have done my education in electronics and communications engineering in Manipal University. I am under the shelter of His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj. From past 12 plus years, I am in the Association of Maharaj, and and regarding the course and regarding this course and its expectations, primarily I would like to understand and realize that I came to know about there is something known as materials for dharma also that exists for a person in this world, which is defined as Varnasrama dharma, which is defined through Varnasrama dharma. So I wanted to understand that in detail, and also for many years this Varnasrama college was happening not online but in the places like in Hebri and at different places. But I want to take advantage of this online course so that people, those who cannot um, like physically being present in the farms, can at least get a thorough idea about how about the course through these online sessions. So that's my expectation.
Nice, nice. Thank you. Have somebody else? Okay. Is there anybody else? I don't think so. No, I feel we went through all the participants who are live with us. Good. So we will just very quickly try to move through this back where we stopped. So nice to have so many engineers here. As I said, I am not a regular modern scientist. So please excuse me any terminology that is not really proper in that sense. Okay, I think we were here. This was the last one. So system thinking, this definition, method which implies training continuous improvement in order to allow the ordinary devotee to perform extraordinary results while offering critical paths to minimize failures and mistakes on the way. So this would be our definition. Or in another way, put it so that I'm putting in different ways so that something stays with us. So system thinking is a method how to empower and achieve extraordinary results while minimizing failures and mistakes on the way. So it is a very powerful tool if we use it in the right way. And we have something which is called Abhideya in our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. We have Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So Abhideya, or systematic training and practice of devotional service according to method and knowledge coming from Sambandha, or relationship to holistic knowledge of the Vedas or our Gaudiya scriptures, and inputs from other devotees, from acharyas, from guru, to achieve prayojana, or the goal. So system thinking is very much part of this, of our sadhana or service, sadhana or seva in ISKCON, where we get systematically trained, hopefully, and we practice according to Guru Sadhu Shastra to achieve prayojana, which is Krishna Prema, of course, eternal service in Vrindavan or Navadvip. So interestingly, Bhishma Dev in Mahabharata, when he is advising Yudhishthir Maharaj, he's giving this Bhishma Deva Shiksha, he's saying deploy systems to execute the plans. Deploy systems to execute the plan. So it's right there in the Shastra also. So the system thinking is basically from what to do to, this is the path from what to how to. And my Guru Maharaj also used to say often, do the right thing, but also in the right way. So we should not only do the right thing, but we should do the right thing in the right way. Then it is holistic. Again, to achieve the right goal, then it's even more holistic, because we should be very much aware, we should have the goal in front of our eyes. And according to this goal, we will choose the right path, we'll choose the right thing to do, and then we will also know the right way, which is prescribed by Guru Sadhu Shastra. So, any questions so far? So went very quickly for this system thinking model, system thinking concept, what would be advantages for us. And if no questions, then we'll go to module 2, which is system thinking and 7 purposes of ISKCON. So it was not my purpose, but somehow by Srila Prabhupada's grace, I started to think, about these purposes of ISKCON. And then when I looked, then I was myself amazed. And this is really for me, again, back to the roots. So we have to always come from the roots. We hear also from Srila Prabhupada that we should water the roots, or this is also Vedic aphorism, that we should water the roots and then the leaves will be nourished automatically. So we will now water our roots by analyzing deeply the 7 purposes of ISKCON. And I don't know how much you are aware of these 7 purposes, but sometimes devotees serve for many years and they don't know that there are these 7 purposes. While Srila Prabhupada was registering ISKCON in America on the 31st July 1966 in New York, he wrote down the 7 purposes. So this is in the constitution of our society. And this is giving the meaning, and this is giving the vision and mission. This is like a vision and mission statement of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada's vision and mission. So we'll go now through each of these 7 purposes. And first one is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large, and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life. You see, so here, educate, this training, education, is the first purpose of ISKCON. And not only for the members of society, but for all the people, not for society at large. So we should have systems to do this. And he is specifically calling these techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life. So we will also look in the second part, we will look more of this course. In the second part, we will look more into this imbalance of values in life in order to achieve real unity and peace in the world. So this is the purpose of ISKCON, to finally achieve real unity and peace in the world, for the whole society at large, by propagating spiritual knowledge and by educating all peoples in spiritual life, in the techniques of spiritual life. So the second one is to propagate a consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is even more specific, not any spiritual techniques, but techniques which are, of course, aiming to achieve the Krishna consciousness. And the basis for this is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So then third one is very interesting, a very interesting one, to bring the members of the society together with each other and nearer to Krishna. So these emphases are from me. So these bold letters are from me, because we will see this is important for then holistic analysis of all of this. And we see how Srila Prabhupada is putting and connecting everything to Krishna for these 7 purposes. So, so to bring the members and each together with each other and nearer to Krishna. So we want to bring the whole society, all the members nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, and thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large. So we'll bring members nearer to Krishna, but the humanity at large, at least they should hear about this idea or develop this idea that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead or Krishna. So this bring each member, bring members together with each other and with Krishna. This is sounding for me very much, and this is pointing to me, my understanding, to Daivi Varnasrama Dharma. So we know about Varnasrama Dharma, but Daivi means especially not even with Vishnu in center, but really with Krishna in the center. And we also have this international society, you know, the whole world. We want to reach the whole world with this big task in front of us. So I will not now go for each one of them now, but later on we will make more deeper analysis. So I'm just giving you the snippet. Then the 6th is to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life. This is also, then we have, in my understanding, twice the 2 purposes are directly connected to establishing of Daivi Varnashrama Dharma. And Varnashrama colleges are really the essential part, essential milestone in achieving this. So teaching a simpler and more natural way of life. So this is definitely a Varnashrama Dharma, although Srila Prabhupada is not mentioning Sanskrit terms, but we can understand that he's meaning this. So the 4th one, so we're going back to the 4th, to teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement of congregational chanting of the holy name of God. So we should not just propagate, but we should especially teach and encourage the people to chant the holy name of God. So there must be some training for this also, some system for this, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's not now mentioning here, you know, in the Vedas or Kali Santarana Upanishad, where Narayana, you know, is where Brahma is teaching this to Narada, the Maha Mantra. But here we see we are the movement of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. ISKCON is the movement of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings. Okay, so this was this, where I shortly analyze the 7 purposes of ISKCON in terms of educating, propagating, teaching systematically. And that this is now clear that we need many, many systems. And when we see this, the Vedas are like that they will give, you know, some statement, some sutra, some verse will be there. And we might be very inspired by this verse. Okay, so I will try to bring, okay, just to bring me back a little bit for interaction. So yes, we might be inspired, but then we might ask, well, how to fulfill this, isn't it? So many brilliant verses, brilliant ideas in the Vedas, but then how to fulfill this? Well, there is something that is called prayoga. I don't know if this is a term for some of you, if you are using some prayogas, or if you know what the term prayoga mean. It would mean basically the procedure, step-by-step procedure of, for example, doing Sandhya Vandanam. How to do Sandhya Vandanam, how to chant Gayatri Mantra. So you will have Prayoga for Sandhya Vandanam, or Prayoga for Puja, Prayoga for cooking, Prayoga for initiation, Prayoga for doing fire sacrifice. And these are the Brahmanas, basically, who are then doing these Prayogas. They have the knowledge, they know all the steps, then they write down for their students, for example. So we actually need many, many prayogas, because there are so many brilliant ideas, but we don't have the system, methodological approach, step-by-step approach, to different ideas, to different concepts. And then we get lost, because we try, it doesn't work, then we are discouraged and we leave this concept. And that's why I think we were not able, really, first, there was no real understanding of Varnasrama Dharma, and we will look into this, because Varnasrama Dharma is this Vedic level, the Vedic system, and then we have, of course, Pancharatrika system, Agama system, and then we have Bhagavad Dharma, we have pure devotional service, and we'll look in second part a little bit into that, and much more in my next course, understanding the teaching of Srila Prabhupada in its real context. So we have these three layers in ISKCON of Vedic system, of Pancharatric system, of Agama system, and we have then the system of Bhagavata Dharma, of pure bhakti. And so we need many different manuals, and we couldn't really grasp this idea of what means this Vedic system, how it is practiced. And we especially don't have manuals. And even when devotees tried to apply some of the principles, they couldn't really find the real details. That so many details were missing. We were missing the real prayogas, how to till the land, how to take care of the cows, and so many things. That's why we failed, because we had some principles. The question is how much we understood the principles, but then we didn't found the real methods or inquire about the real methods. We don't have to find them because they are there, but we didn't take the time and effort. And now, under the leadership of Bhakti Raghava Maharaj, of course, other devotees who are understanding more of this importance of this, we are getting the bigger picture and all these tools really to work successfully with all these concepts and ideas. Okay, so we are going back. And any questions? Any questions so far?
Prabhuji, I am new to this, so I wanted to know how is Devi Varnashrama Dharma different from the Vedic Varnashrama Dharma?
Very good question. So we see that there are different Varnashrama systems, as we know. There's Suric and Asuric. So there is even demoniac Varnashrama society that was practiced in the past. And this is where it is atheistic. So you used all these principles, concepts, but you don't put God in the center. And then there is, of course, we understand from the Vedas that the Varnashrama Dharma is to satisfy Vishnu. Basically, through following very nicely your duties, you will satisfy Vishnu. Vishnu will give you blessings and you will have nice life. So Vishnu is very much in the center of Vedic understanding. But now, through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the efforts of our Acharya, we understand that the concept of Krishna is even more advanced concept, even more full concept of God. So, and that's why we are now putting Krishna and we are putting this understanding of living in Vrindavana in the center. And so that's why Srila Prabhupada told us that we should replicate Vrindavana villages throughout the world. Each of our farms should be the replica of Vrindavan lifestyle and whole culture, not just Vaikuntha. No, this would be then more this also level of Varnashrama, but also level of agama, or pancharatra. But Bhagavad Dharma, our level is either living in Vrindavana, living the lifestyle of Vrindavana, and we have, if we are of course devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Gauranga, then there will be some level of Brahmana community in Navadvip. But there also Krishna is very much in the center. Although they worship Narayana as God, they worship God, but they meditate, they love Krishna, like that. So I hope this is answering your question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we go more here with next module. So module 3. So our time is going very fast, but we are in last module, and we'll have some also possibility for more questions. So holistic thinking. So in the purposes, so now we will analyze how we can discover and find holistic thinking in the 7 purposes of Srila Prabhupada. So there it is there in the first, already in the first purpose, that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead. Each soul is part and parcel of Krishna and has eternal relationship, as we know. And
Prabhuji,
yes?
would you want to share your screen?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking that I forgot to. Thank you very much for pointing this out. Yes. So here, module 3. Now you can see it?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Let's make it bigger. So each soul is part and parcel of Krishna, of God. So Srila Prabhupada is putting this on purpose, Godhead. So very universally also. And in brackets he's putting Krishna. Although he didn't want to call the society, although there were suggestions by his disciples, oh, Srila Prabhupada, why don't you call it International Society for God Consciousness? No, there Srila Prabhupada wanted to have it Krishna. But here in the purposes, he is putting first word Godhead and then in brackets Krishna. So very universal approach. So, and this is from His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So I'm quoting now, I'm giving more and more quotes from his books on leadership. I don't know, especially younger devotees, perhaps you don't know so much about Bhakti Tirtha Swami, but he was GBC global leader and guru in ISKCON, and he passed unfortunately already in 2005, and he was one of the great generals of Srila Prabhupada, and he wrote many books, over 20 books, and especially 2 books on leadership for an age of higher consciousness. So I'm quoting from this book, and second book, he's dealing with this Bhishma Shiksha to Yudhishthir, advices of Bhishma, instructions of Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthir, how to be a good emperor, how to be a good leader. So very important instructions, and Maharaj then wrote a whole book on that with his commentaries. So he's putting also his perspective that each person is holistic being. So we are holistic being who has a material aspect and a metaphysical aspect. So we have this gross aspect and subtle aspect, but who is the soul? So we should always be very clear that as long as we have this body, we have these 3 different aspects. Then first we try to observe and understand the human condition. So, and that would be really the level of Varnasrama Dharma, and then on a little bit higher level, the level of Pancharatrika and Agama Shastra. So we have to start from A, and then we go to B and to C. And that's why, interesting enough, when Srila Prabhupada discussed Varnasrama colleges, so just short introduction, there are many talks of Srila Prabhupada about Varnasrama colleges, which you can read some letters or some conversations in database. And when they were discussing in details, so Srila Prabhupada said, well, it is not so becoming Vaishnava. Okay, becoming Vaishnava is not so cheap. It's not a cheap thing, because why so many are falling down? No, because at that time already some of sannyasi disciples fell down, some of ISKCON leaders, while Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, were falling down. So he says, so that's why we will now introduce Varnasrama system for training, for education, for purification. So we need some more basic purification, some more gross tools. Because Pancharatrika is already much finer tool. And Bhagavad Dharma is very fine, very subtle, very esoteric. So, but we need some more gross tools. And he says, we will first give them Varna and then Ashrama. But what is happening in ISKCON, that we just have at the moment Ashrama Dharma. We don't have Varna Ashrama Dharma, isn't it? So who is speaking about Varna, or where is the training for Varna? Now we are starting the training for Varna through Varnasrama colleges. But interesting enough, Srila Prabhupada said, first we will give them Varna, and then they will get Ashrama. Then they will get situated as Grihastha or Vana Brahmachari or Sannyasi, whatever. So that's why first try to understand the human condition. That's how we can understand this quote of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Very important also concept to understand. Okay, so we go. I have. Why is this not now going to become big? I cannot. Do you see my screen now? This holistic thinking.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but I can't make it big now. I hope it didn't. Perhaps I have to go here. Let me see. Still not. Okay, but you can read it like this?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's very interesting that it seemed something happened on the way. No. Okay, I don't see now these slides. Something happened here. I will just try it once again. Sorry for this. Just give me one moment. Now I have again my PowerPoint even. Yeah, my PDF file. So that's really very interesting what's going on here. Okay. Okay, so first try to observe and understand the human condition. So we continue from here. Again, trying to once again and make it bigger. Yes. Okay, now we are back. So, holistic thinking, this is now my idea, my definition, means thinking in dualities. Because we also saw it there with system thinking, which should be actually part of holistic thinking. So many dualities there. As long as we are this material world, we have to think in dualities, but also beyond dualities. So this is the challenge for us, to think in dualities, not to leave one opposite, or one part out of the big picture. So we have to have big picture, but also we have to think beyond dualities. And this is actually, holistic thinking is very much part of our philosophy, as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. The simultaneously being one and different from the supreme truth, from the supreme tattva, from Krishna tattva, being at the same time one in the qualities, but different in power from Krishna. So here we also see how this is the most holistic concept, philosophical concept in the world. So there is nothing better, no higher explanation of philosophy, no higher concept, no higher tattva, philosophical tattva than this. Achintya Bheda Abheda tattva. Simultaneously being one with God and different from God. So everything is simultaneously one with God, but also different from God. So this is amazing, and everything can be synthesized through this understanding, through this approach. How we are all one, but we are all different. We are all in ISKCON, but we all have so individual stories and abilities and needs and like this. And we have to address this all. So holistic thinking would mean having a theory idea and going from this theory idea, which is holistic idea, to method and result. So then we need a method and to achieve a result. System, because we again repeat, system is a method to achieve results while offering critical paths to minimize failures and mistakes on the way. So this requires holistic system of thinking or method of training, education like this, of propagation, to put this thinking into practice. So we need holistic systems, and Varnasrama Dharma is such a system. It's a very holistic system, but it's not holistic in the whole. You know, it is aimed to one end, aimed to liberation, but it's not an aim to achieve Krishna prema. Of course, we understand. Or for some, if they start at the bottom of Varnasrama Dharma, then there is aims perhaps to advance from Shudra to Vaishya, from Vaishya to Kshatriya, from Kshatriya to Brahmana, and then Brahmana is becoming Vaishnava, then he has to work in Pancharatra system. And when this Vaishnava is becoming pure Vaishnava, then he goes to next level, which is Bhagavata Dharma, which is pure devotional service. So we see here whole and more holistic and like this. So we need all these three systems. Srila Prabhupada wanted that we work parallelly. He's saying at least Pancharatrika Vidhi, this Pancharatra Marga, this system of initiation into Vaishnava Dharma has to go hand in hand with Sankirtana movement, with Shravana Kirtana Vishnu Smaranam, with Bhagavata Dharma. So these are two parallel tracks in ISKCON. But then we see also that he wanted to introduce Varnasrama Dharma as the basis for both. Because some perhaps will not get initiated, and there is possibility that you go directly to Bhagavata Dharma. That's also there for very elevated souls. And they don't have to go through the process of initiation. And they can theoretically immediately start with Bhagavata Dharma. And the others will have to go step by step. They will not be able to move so quickly. Okay, so the Sankirtana movement, which is defined there in the fourth purpose of ISKCON, is also a holistic system because it is simultaneously the path and the goal. It's the way and the goal. And this is then aphorism from which is ascribed to Chinese philosophy, but actually I found such aphorism in one of Upanishads. I didn't write that time down, or I did, but then I lost. But it is either in Kena or Keta Upanishad, the way is the goal, the path is the goal. That's in one of Upanishads, and probably with spread of Buddhist Dharma, it came to India and to China, sorry, and became very popular, and then found its way to the West. But actually, it's Vedic idea that the path is the goal. So how is Sankirtan movement the path and the goal simultaneous? So this is the question. This is the question for you. So if anybody would like to share something on that. What is the understanding?
Prabhuji, I think I lost your question. Is it okay if I ask you to repeat?
Yes. So how is the Sankirtan movement simultaneously the path and the goal? So how is the chanting of the God's name? No. So how is this? How are the means the same as the end?
I could only explain it in connected with the term bhakti,
Mm-hmm.
because when people ask, or when devotees ask also more detailed question about what is bhakti, you can explain it in a way of a method, bhakti yoga,
Mm-hmm.
a procedure, sadhana bhakti, but bhakti at the same time is also the emotion of love.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it like that. In that sense, bhakti is a holistic system.
Mm-hmm. Bhakti is holistic system. Wonderful. Yes, thank you for sharing this. Of course, the basic understanding is that bhakti can only come from bhakti. There is no other way to achieve bhakti, to become surrendered, but to surrender. So if when you surrender, then you are surrendered. When you do bhakti, you achieve also bhakti. So, and we understand by chanting Krishna's name, no, we are already with Krishna. So we already attained in certain way Krishna, because Krishna is non-different from his names. So by chanting his names, no, we are then finally, this name is revealing itself. Now the name is non-different from Krishna. So at one point we will understand this by chanting, and the name will really manifest fully and blossom, and give us darshan of Krishna, give us his real rupa, his real form. So this is my understanding of this, that Sankirtana movement is, you're doing one thing and then you are achieving the same thing actually, but in a more profound way. Is more and more revealing itself. So we'll go back to this just to share my screen again. Okay, I think we are here. Okay, right. This is the next slide. So Sankirtan movement is a method or system to, going back to the first purpose of the seven purposes, to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead Krishna. So when they start to chant, they will get to this understanding. They will feel the presence of God. They will feel the power of the holy name and the purifying process. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave Krishna consciousness, and not only Krishna consciousness, but prema to others through the holy name, through his pure chanting. All got infected by prema. So by experiencing prema, he manifested prema in others. And Sankirtan movement is a method or system to achieve real unity and peace in the world. We understand this by chanting, everything will become pure and auspicious. Is a method, a system to propagate a consciousness of Krishna, or idea that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead as it is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is our broader understanding of Sankirtan movement, that it means also not only kirtanam in the sense of just chanting the names, but chanting the glories of God, chanting the glories and lila of Krishna. So giving very particular understanding of God. And so it really includes Shravanam and Kirtanam and Smaranam of Krishna, basically. And this holistic system was revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we read in the fourth purpose. So this system of Sankirtana movement, because we always hear, we are in Sankirtana movement, we are part of Sankirtana Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, this is his Lila is avatar of hidden avatar of this age, hidden avatar of Kali Yuga. So interesting enough, this personality of Sri Gauranga, of Nimai Pandit, has these two different extraordinary features. And even when Krishna appears, he appears also with all his different avatars. He appears also as Vasudeva Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna, and Mathura Krishna, as we understand. So Sri Gauranga, Gaura, appears also as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is actually, it is explained by Acharya, this is his avatar feature in which he is liberating the people through the congregational chanting of the holy names. But there is also, like we have Krishna in Vrindavan, which is a little bit different than Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we understand this is Vasudeva feature. This is an avatar of Vrindavana Krishna, of Nanda Nandana, of Rajendra Nandana Krishna in Vrindavan. So there is also a hidden aspect of Gauranga in Navadvip. So now we can't go very much into that details, but just telling that this is actually Yuga Dharma. So when Avatar comes, he is propagating Yuga Dharma. Okay, and this is the chanting, congregational chanting of the holy names, but also teaching the philosophy of Krishna and all these procedures that we need to have. So, and it is all based, also these teachings are very much grounded in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not so much new. So, and then holistic system of ISKCON means to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples. So here we see not just one sect, one religion, one nation, one race, but society at large and to educate all peoples. So we have to think how to reach and how to educate all peoples systematically in spiritual knowledge with a view towards achieving. So this is the last and seventh purpose, which is very important also, because here we see one part of this system, and this is the main part actually of bringing this mission forward, with a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. Okay, so this is part, this publishing and distributing these teachings is part of Sankirtana movement. And this sense, it is really there for all. And we have to be able to present it in that way that all people become attracted and all people will be able to benefit from this. So holistic system of ISKCON is that ISKCON is there for members of the society and humanity at large. So it is propagating spiritual knowledge and consciousness of Krishna. So both is there, spiritual knowledge and particularly consciousness of Krishna. So Varnasrama Dharma is more for propagating spiritual knowledge, and then Pancharatrika and especially Bhagavata concept, Bhagavata Dharma concept is to propagate consciousness of Krishna. Then it is educating all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life, and it's bringing together, members and also all people with each other and Krishna. So it's developing the idea that each soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and it's checking the imbalance of values in life, which is prerequisite to attain peace, and like this, and other values in the world, peace and unity. So it is teaching and encouraging finally Sankirtana, because this is the most easiest way. But again, for those who cannot take immediately to the chanting of the holy names of God, so then for them we will teach them the basics. So we will start with Atma Tattva, with the science of the soul, science of transmigration of the soul, and then slowly lead them to higher and higher understanding who they are. And there is also another purpose of ISKCON, erecting holy places. But again, Srila Prabhupada is writing not only for Vaishnavas, not only for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but for society at large. And I don't know about many such projects. No, okay, in India it's easier, but in the West, I can mention just a few projects who are open there and attractive enough for society at large. And uh, definitely the first and oldest such project is New Vrindavan, where we have Palace of Gold, Srila Prabhupada's palace, and where many tourists are visiting this Palace of Gold because it's a big tourist attraction. And then they learn more about the life of Srila Prabhupada and his teachings, and that way they can connect to Krishna, getting prasadam in a nice restaurant like that. Then in Europe, we have New Vrajadama, we have Hungarian farm, Radha Krishna farm, and we have then also ISKCON Radhadesh, for example, in Belgium, where also many tourists, many buses are coming because devotees are living in a castle, a very nice old castle, which was beautifully renovated. So people like to see nice places, and then they get infected by all other offers that we can give them. And of course, Bhaktivedanta manner is certain way, but not so many projects. As I say, in India, we know these big projects in India. They are attractive masses of people who are not directly ISKCON members. But in West, we have to work on that. So, and finally, we are slowly closing, to bring the members closer together to, in order to teach them a simpler and more natural way of life. So this is very important that we address these physical aspects and needs of the people. So again, holistic approach. And again, publish and distribute. Not only publish, but we take it in our hands, basically, that we publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. So we want to come into the direct contact with the people and offer them our spiritual knowledge. Okay, so that was for today. So we'll have second part on Wednesday. So I will send you again a link. You will be notified by email about the link. And so now I am opening a session, question and answer session. So if you have any more questions or something needs to be clarified, you're welcome to ask questions.
Prabhuji, is my sorry.
Please. Yes, please.
Is my understanding correct that when we are talking about Varnasrama Dharma and that Varnasrama system, it is basically with the motto that we should help those who are not yet spiritually ready to embrace Vaishnavism? We are helping them to come up in the path. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
This is one part, definitely. This is right. But first, we have to help ourselves, I would say.
Okay.
So we have to position ourselves where we can share with others. And Bhaktivedanta Swami, one video, there are a few videos on YouTube where he's being interviewed by some scholars, by some media persons. And he's saying, no, we are just preaching about something, but not living this. This is hypocritical. No, so how can you preach about natural life, but you are not living this? No, so there is some dichotomy, then some conflict there. No, and we will never be really so powerful in bring our message across if we don't practice it and living it ourselves. And it gives really setting for meditation. So living on the farms, you can more easily connect to Krishna Lila finally, because Krishna is living in such a setting. No, so it's more natural, it's more conducive for all our culture and lifestyle. So because we need this, we have to have a shift from modern lifestyle and modern culturalization, and really to transform our whole identity. And so it's much more conducive, much more better if we live, in a communities, spiritual communities, on the land, from the land, very self-sufficient, in harmony with nature and with Krishna. Is this answering your question?
Yeah, thanks. I had
Thank
one
you.
more question if you have time.
Yes, please.
So this may be possibly a silly question, but I wanted to understand
There are
how
no
can a
silly
software.
questions. They are just silly answers.
Okay, I wanted to understand how does a software engineer fit into the Varnasrama Dharma, and is there any hope of being a Vaishnava without giving up the software engineering profession?
So our basic understanding, basic instruction, of course, to some devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just remain where you are and add Krishna to your life. So this is the basic understanding, that you don't have to change so much if it is conducive for you. If you feel you are making progress in your spiritual life, then you just add Krishna to that. And you try, whatever you do, you try to always remember Krishna, never forget it. This is the basic rule of all the rules. This is the basic vidhi. Just remember Krishna, never forget him. So, but if you feel that there is something lacking, something missing, perhaps then you should try a little bit and experiment and see, perhaps go more into the nature, or I don't know what is but in the Western world, people sometimes, they can even rent a garden. They can rent a garden, they can buy a garden, they can work a little bit in the garden, get some experience, and then feel, okay, I can connect more. I could connect more to such a natural way of life. So then they make slow transition, from one setting in another. But definitely, we have different skills. We have our professions, and if it is working for us, if we are making spiritual progress, if we can have good sangha in that setting, then we should continue. No need why we should artificially give up one duty and go for something else. So it's very individual, actually. There's no ready-made answer to that.
Okay. So if I say that I am comfortable in my current profession and I see scope to serve Krishna in this profession, how can I become an advocate for Varnashrama Dharma? Because they may say that I am being a hypocrite. I am not following it myself.
So I mean, it is not necessary, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also saying, Varnashrama Dharma is good. No, we don't deny Varnashrama Dharma, but it's not really necessary. It's good for purification, it's good for some service to Krishna, but we have to see where we can make more service. So, of course, those who are more Brahminical, basically the understanding is that if you, and okay, very shortly, so the Gaudiya Vaishnavas before, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, they were giving up their Varnashrama position. So we know from the history. They would even give their Yagyopavita away. They would say, I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Shudra. There is this famous verse by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he was speaking. Naham Vipra, Naham Va, Narapatir, Napi Vaishyo, Na Shudro, and so on. This is the then part of Bhuta Shuddhi, purifying, all the elements, where I am not part of any varna, I am not part of any ashrama. I am identifying my real identification as a servant of the servant of the certain servant of maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Bharta Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Dasunu Dasaha. So this is our real final eternal identity, that we want to be servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. No, we want to be servant of Srimati Radharani, who is serving Krishna. Finally, this is Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding. So there is no need to go through Varnasrama Dharma. But uh, um, starting with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? This is really big topic, big topic. Perhaps we should have one course just on that, to come to real understanding, to proper understanding, how this all fit together. But when you get second initiation in ISKCON, so if you don't have second initiation, don't worry. If you have your Upanayana, then you have your duties pertaining to that. You have to do your Sandhya Vandanam 3 times a day and like this, and do some other rituals. So you should do this. You don't give this up. If this is helpful for you, and certainly it is, until you don't reach the pure Krishna consciousness, until you don't reach Bhava stage, of 8 stages of devotional perfection, don't give it up. This is at least my recommendation to you. So, but if you are second initiated ISKCON, from time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you are getting also Upanayana in that. You are getting Brahma Gayatri, you are getting Savitri Gayatri. And there are some rules which are stated even in Hari Bhakti Vilasa. Hari Bhakti Vilasa is our Agama Shastra, our Pancharatra Shastra. We, as a part of our Samhita, Vaishnava Samhita, so many rules there. And there it is said, you have to do proper Sandhya Vandanam, like Vedic Brahmanas. So in this way, we are becoming Vedic again, as a basis. So you can, if you want to go this way, you can identify as a Vaishnava Brahmana, not as a Vedic Brahmana, but then you are Vaishnava Brahmana. You can also be a Vedic Brahmana in that sense. You can go and you are eligible and you are qualified to go the Vedic way, to become Paka Brahmana, and to do all these different rituals, to follow very nicely your Brahmana Dharma. So, and this is there. If you don't want this, don't take second initiation. It's not necessary. First initiation is already enough to bring you back to Godhead. But if you feel you need some more purification, you feel you need some more service, to the deity, to the temple deity, cooking for the Lord, worshiping, teaching, then you will take second initiation. But with this, you will come under the shelter of Varnasrama Dharma too, because you are chanting now Vedic Gayatri Mantra. Okay, you are chanting Vedic Mantra, and for this, there are certain rules, how to chant them, how to follow certain rules. So you are then Vedic. You can't say, I'm not Vedic. And this is big misunderstanding. Then when it suits us, we say, oh, we are not so much Vedic. Finally, Krishna is saying, give up the Vedas. Give up the Vedas and come under my shelter. So there is a wrong narrative about all this thing. And we have to come to the holistic understanding of our Vaishnava Sadachara, of our Vaishnava behavior, of our Vaishnava sadhana practice, and the whole system of initiation in ISKCON. This is not so much clear how it is and what it means really to be a Brahmana. And then they say, well, but nobody is Brahmana. In Kali Yuga, there are no Brahmanas. But then how you are initiated? Srila Prabhupada is saying our second initiation is Brahmana initiation. So you are a Brahmana. Now, in technical sense, okay, you have to be more trained, you have to be more experienced, you have to be more learned, more studied to call yourself a Brahmana and perform certain activities. And basically, you shouldn't then have occupation where you work for others. You shouldn't basically have Shudra occupation. You shouldn't have a boss, except Krishna and Guru. Then you can say, okay, I'm doing my Brahmana Dharma. I'm a Brahmana. So then we have to be careful, we have to be careful and study better and watch more closely what we are doing, how we are doing, what is our setting. But, there are many different levels. So everybody's eligible to perform Sankirtana movement. Everybody's eligible to chant Maha Mantra. Although it is Vedic mantra, it is there in Kali Santara and Upanishad. But still, it is not only mantra, it's a holy name. So, and for the holy name, you don't have to follow all these rules as you would have when you are under mantra shastra. For mantra shastra, you need a guru, you need initiation, you need prayoga, you need a process, you need to follow all these rules. But as we understand from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namnam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatarpita Niyamita Smarane Nakalaha. So there is no certain time, like for Gayatris to chant the holy name. There's actually no rules except to always chant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this is the basic rule. There is one rule only, and this is to always chant the holy name. So once you start, don't stop. But as I said, this is huge. It is really huge topic, and there is a lot to explain and to understand in this connection. So any last questions or comments?
Yes, dear Nitai Prabhu.
Akshara Prabhu, yes, please.
Could you please repeat or summarize a little bit the relationship between system thinking and holistic thinking? I mean, I got more or less the relationship between system thinking and ISKCON, and also holistic thinking and ISKCON. But what is the relation between the two, system thinking and holistic thinking?
Very good. Very good. So holistic thinking means that you understand that there are systems, and you try really to think in the systems. And then hopefully this will also bring you to understand more the holistic nature of our being, of the world. The more you work with this, you will see the interconnection between parts and the whole, and like that. Is this answering your question?
I think I did. I haven't got it yet, really clearly.
Okay. So
is there a way to see it written so I can focus my mind on it?
Well, I will send you. If you go once again. So this is something really to meditate upon, and I will send to all of you this PowerPoint, and where you can then please go once again through all the slides. Try to internalize and imbibe this. And if you have any questions, you can contact me through email or WhatsApp, and we can discuss more. We can discuss next time. So please, until Wednesday, review all this information. Try to meditate upon this, and see do we have already some understanding. And if we analyze once again the 7 purposes of ISKCON, so this would be really, thank you for this question, but this would be homework, to take the 7 purposes of ISKCON and go with the slides once again and see if I put it right. Perhaps I didn't put it somewhere right, or you will not follow my way of thinking, so then we can discuss this more and see how there is a system, there is systematic approach in how Srila Prabhupada is writing the 7 purposes. He has some method, he has some system, okay, to achieve this idea of each soul being part of Krishna, each soul being part of the whole. So this is the basic holistic idea. We are all part of Krishna. And how to come to this idea, how to reach, for this you need a method or system. And this method or system is Sankirtana, the chanting, congregational chanting of the holy names of God, discussing about Krishna, discussing about spiritual topics. And this is finally the purpose of ISKCON, that we are giving a platform for this, to come together, to discuss about Krishna, to glorify Krishna, to chant his holy name. But again, as we said, this system, this method is also the goal. So the more, when we start to chant, we want to chant more. We want to discuss and hear more about Krishna. So this ongoing process, ongoing training, and ongoing improvement. So these different levels. And as I said, this is really a path from what to how to, and to final goal, from Sambandha to Abhideya to Prayojana. So Abhideya is very much about the system. system thinking, having the right method, having tools, for doing bhajana kriya, for doing your devotional practice and service. But it is part of the more bigger system again, of holistic system of sadhana, abhideya, and prayojana. So you can't just work on prayojana you can't work now on prayojana level, really, but you have to keep it as a goal in front of you. And if you don't understand what is the goal, then what is the use of your practice? So we have to know what we want to achieve. And then with this understanding, we practice. As it is said, if you don't know the meaning of the mantra, then more or less your chanting of the mantra will not bring desired result, or we bring it with great difficulty and after long time. So we have to have right understanding of what we are doing. And this holistic approach is giving us this big picture, understanding the whole levels, the different concepts, different pictures, and it will become more clear when we speak about spiritual science, and we will speak difference between holistic system and holistic thinking and this reductionist thinking of the Western world, where they just work with the system without really thinking what is the goal, what is the meaning of all this, what is the big picture that we have there. So I hope this is giving a little bit more input into your question. But it's
Yes,
very,
great.
very good question.
I think finally I got a little bit of a clue.
Okay.
That's very interesting. Thank you.
Well, it's really interesting for me also, because I said, well, I looked into that what we learned in GBC College. I didn't have much chance to present it, and I see that this Varnasrama College is big, is also chance to share some of my knowledge. And when you share, you really learn. And this is what actually I wanted to ask all of you. And then Kumar Prabhu, you also had, I think, one question. We'll come back to you. But also my request to you, and as you know, in traditional way, you have to give some dakshina to the teacher. So your dakshina will be to share this information, as some of you already stated, that you will do. I am sure you will do. And so the more you try to share, you will have to understand for yourself. Of course, before you share or while you are sharing, you will get some realizations, some more realizations. So it will become more and more part of you the more you work with this. And really, please try to share this idea of system thinking, of putting procedures in place, written procedures, for example, for anything. We can write written procedure, prayoga for cleaning the temple, for serving prasadam, and it's really good that it is there. We should not become like bureaucrats, but it's helpful to so many devotees, and then we have one standard. And just think about this standardization that is happening in the corporate world with these ISO standards, and this, how much is this helping this globalization? And we are international society, so we have also to think in this connection to have really good standards, or shareable, at least shareable standards, where we can share our experiences, knowledge with with all the centers around the world, and good practices and good experiences. So that's why this system thinking is so important. We often hear also about um, service descriptions. In the corporate world, we have job description, and now in ISKCON more and more we have this idea of service description, which is also not going so much into details. It's just saying, well, what this this seva covers, this and that, basically. Now, what is your responsibility? It is more like service responsibility. What is your area of responsibility? But it's not giving you, again, really all the detailed procedure. What is your task? What is your job task? So prayoga is really job task, how you will do it in the best possible way, to minimize the failures, minimize mistakes, be much more effective and efficient finally in that what you are doing. And Praful Kumar Prabhu, you also had a question?
I think some of it partly answered, Pro, but I will present my questions. Two questions, but if time consent is there, we can take in the next session. And I'll just say, what is the difference between Vishnu in the center or Krishna in the center? Like, I think you mentioned like Vishnu in the center and Krishna in the center are different things in the Varnasrama system. And secondly, why we relate the fifth or sixth purpose of ISKCON to Varnashrama or farm communities alone? Why can't we focus to improve or increase our temples or the cities wherever the congregation is existing and try to spread over it? And why only like relating that purposes towards Varnashrama or the farm communities? These are the two questions.
Very good questions. Perhaps if you can write these questions for me down, because there are two, I think, different questions, and they would be now a little bit time consuming, and then I will take also time really to consolidate my thoughts and try to give you some meaningful answer. So we can start next session on Wednesday with your questions. Please remind me. Write down your questions, send it to me. And I will give you then answer in next session if this is okay with you.
I'm okay with it, Prabhu. Thank
because
you.
this will be also part actually of next module, actually of module 6. So we'll come to that, and then we can take again this and discuss it there. Okay.
Sure.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think we should now close session for today. Thank you so much for being here with me, bearing here with me, and giving me a possibility to share some of knowledge, and trying also to, in that sense, to improve my understanding of the whole matter and make ISKCON a better organization, better society for all of us. So see you then on Wednesday. Take care. ISKCON founder Chari, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Daiva Varnashrama Dharma ki. Om Surabhyaya Namaha. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.